Before you even finish your first cup of coffee, your body has already made a decision quietly, invisibly about whether it's going to support your health or slowly work against it. Sounds dramatic, right? But stay with me, because this might be one of those moments that sticks with you long after this video ends. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, doing the exact same things you've done for years, same routine, same habits, same mindset, never realizing that a few tiny choices in those first moments are shaping how your cells behave for the rest of the day. Not just your mood, not just your energy, your cells. And here's the part that catches people off guard. This isn't about some extreme diet or expensive supplements or a complicated routine that takes hours. It's about simple, almost boring habits that most people ignore, especially after 50, when the body doesn't bounce back the way it used to. Now let me tell you about someone real. Mark, 57, a regular guy, not unhealthy by any obvious standard, the kind of person who says, "I'm doing okay, nothing serious," and honestly believes it. He woke up every day, grabbed his phone, checked messages, scrolled through the news, made coffee his first priority, skipped breakfast more often than not, and rushed into the day thinking he was being productive. Sound familiar? Yeah, it usually does. Then came a routine checkup, nothing dramatic, no emergency, but what his doctor told him stuck harder than any diagnosis. His body was showing signs of chronic stress, inflammation was creeping up, and his daily routine, especially his mornings, were quietly feeding that pattern. Not causing something overnight, but building pressure day after day. That's the thing most people miss. It's not the big dramatic moments that shape your health. It's the quiet repetition of small habits you never question. And that's where the first shift begins. Because the moment you wake up, your body is in a unique state. It's been fasting, repairing, resetting overnight, and it's waiting for a signal. What you do first becomes that signal. And most people get it wrong. They reach for caffeine before hydration, flooding their system with stimulation before giving it what it actually needs. Look, coffee isn't the enemy. Let's be real. A lot of us love it, but when it's the very first thing hitting a dehydrated system, it's like stepping on the gas before turning on the engine properly. Your body has been without water for hours. Your cells need hydration to function, to repair, to flush out what your body worked on overnight. And instead, they get a jolt of stress hormones. That's not balance. That's chaos in slow motion. And here's the interesting part. This isn't about perfection. It's about order. Drink water first, even a glass, even half a glass, something to signal your body that it's supported, not pushed. It sounds almost too simple, and that's why people skip it, because we're conditioned to think real change has to feel big, complicated, even uncomfortable. But sometimes the most powerful changes feel almost underwhelming. And that's exactly why they work, because you'll actually do them. Now let's talk about something even more overlooked: light. Not screens, not artificial brightness, real natural light. When was the last time you stepped outside in the morning without your phone, without distractions, just for a minute or two? Most people can't even remember, because the modern morning doesn't start with the world. It starts with a screen. And that shift has consequences. Your body relies on natural light to regulate its internal clock, to balance hormones, to support immune function. And when that signal is weak or missing, everything feels slightly off, not enough to panic, but enough to slowly drift out of balance. And over time, that drift matters. You don't need to stand outside for an hour like some kind of morning ritual guru. Just a few minutes, just enough to let your system recognize the day has started. It's subtle but powerful, like setting the tone before the noise begins. And here's where things get even more real, because the next habit is something almost everyone does without thinking. The moment your eyes open, your hand reaches for your phone. It's automatic, almost like a reflex, and in that instant, before your mind has even fully woken up, you're flooded with information, stress, notifications, expectations, and your body reacts. Heart rate shifts, stress hormones spike. Your brain moves into reaction mode instead of control mode. You haven't even started your day, and you're already behind. And the scary part? It feels normal. That's what makes it dangerous. Not because it's extreme, but because it's invisible. Imagine giving yourself just 5 minutes no phone, no noise, no pressure, just sitting, breathing, letting your mind catch up with your body. It sounds small, almost insignificant, but that small gap creates space. And that space changes how you respond to everything that comes next. And that's the pattern you start to notice. None of these habits are extreme, but together, they shift the direction of your day. Not instantly, not dramatically, but consistently. And consistency is where the real power lives. Because your body doesn't respond to what you do once. It responds to what you repeat. Day after day, choice after choice, signal after signal. And before you know it, those signals become your baseline. That's why people like Mark don't notice anything wrong at first. Because nothing feels urgent, nothing feels broken, until one day the accumulation becomes impossible to ignore. And the truth is, you don't need fear to change. You just need awareness. The moment you start seeing your habits for what they are, not just routines, but signals, everything shifts. You stop asking, is this a big deal? And start asking, what is this teaching my body? And that question alone can change everything. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you feel the difference, even slightly, you don't want to go back. And here's the best part. You don't have to fix everything at once. You don't have to become a completely different person overnight. You just have to start. One habit, one shift, one small decision that moves you in the right direction. Because momentum doesn't come from doing everything perfectly. It comes from doing something consistently. And as simple as it sounds, that's where most people either win or quietly lose without realizing it. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Because once you've set the tone with those first moments, hydration, light, a little space before the noise, you've already changed the direction of your morning more than most people realize. But what you do next either builds on that momentum or slowly cancels it out. This is where movement comes in. And before you roll your eyes and think, I'm not hitting the gym at 6 a.m., relax. That's not what this is about. This isn't about punishing workouts or chasing some unrealistic version of fitness, especially after 50, when your body needs support, not stress piled on top of stress. This is about something much simpler, almost overlooked because of how basic it sounds, just moving your body. Stretching a little, walking around, loosening up joints that have been still for hours, letting blood flow the way it's supposed to. Because here's the truth nobody talks about enough. Your body isn't designed to go from stillness straight into pressure, from lying down to rushing into responsibilities without a transition. That gap matters. When you move, even lightly, you're telling your system, we're awake, we're active, we're ready. And that signal supports everything else: circulation, energy, even how your body handles stress throughout the day. And again, it's not about intensity, it's about consistency. 5 minutes done every day beats one intense session you'll quit after a week. And deep down, you already know that. But let's be honest, the real challenge isn't knowing what to do. It's actually doing it when life feels busy, when motivation is low, when old habits are easier. That's where most people fall back into autopilot. And autopilot is comfortable, but it doesn't lead anywhere new. And then comes something that sparks a lot of debate: breakfast. Some people skip it, some grab whatever's quick, some overthink it completely. But the real question isn't what's trending or what diet is popular. It's what does your body actually need in that moment? After hours of fasting, Your system is ready for fuel, real fuel, not just sugar spikes or processed shortcuts that give you a quick high and then drop you harder than before. Because what you eat in the morning doesn't just affect your hunger, it affects your energy, your focus, even your mood, and over time, those patterns add up. You don't need anything complicated. You don't need to chase every new superfood you see online. You just need something real, something your body recognizes, something that supports you instead of confusing your system. And here's where a lot of people get caught. They're looking for the perfect plan instead of building a sustainable one. Perfection feels exciting, but it doesn't last. Consistency feels boring, but it works. Every single time. And when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, all of these habits connect in a way that's easy to miss if you only look at them individually. Hydration supports your cells, light regulates your system, stillness protects your mind, movement activates your body, and real food fuels everything that follows. It's not about one magic fix, it's about alignment. And when those things align, even partially, your body responds. Not overnight, not in some dramatic movie-like transformation, but in subtle ways: better energy, clearer thinking, less tension, a feeling that things are just working a little better. And that's where the real shift happens. Because once you feel that difference, even slightly, you start to realize how much control you actually have. Not over everything, of course. Life will always be unpredictable, but over your starting point, over how you begin your day, and that beginning shapes more than you think. And here's something worth sitting with for a second. Your body is not your enemy. It's not working against you. It's constantly trying to adapt, to repair, to support you with whatever you give it. The question is, what are you giving it? Because every habit is a message, every routine is a pattern, and over time, those patterns become your reality. That might sound heavy, but it's also empowering because it means small changes matter. You don't have to wait for a big moment. You don't have to hit rock bottom. You can shift things right now quietly, without anyone else even noticing it first. And maybe that's the most powerful part of all of this. It's not about fear. It's not about thinking something bad is around the corner. It's about realizing that you have influence over your direction, even in ways that seem small. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up, pause for a second before you fall into the same routine. Ask yourself one simple question. What kind of signal do I want to send my body today? Not a perfect plan, not a complete overhaul, just one decision that moves you slightly in the right direction. Because that's how change actually happens. Not all at once, but step by step, habit by habit, choice by choice. And if even one part of this made you stop and think, even for a moment, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who might need that same reminder. Because sometimes the smallest shift in awareness can lead to the biggest difference over time. And if you're ready to start, not next week, not someday, but tomorrow morning, go ahead and say it, even if it's just to yourself. I'm starting now, because the truth is, the best time to change your routine isn't when everything falls apart. It's when you realize you still have the chance to shape what comes next.